This film is based on a true story. When Lisa Aguilar walked down the aisle to marry the love of her life, she had no idea what nightmare awaited her. Fremont, California, 1992. Lisa and Darren are happily married newlyweds. They have a tradition of going on picnics together, and during one of these outings, Lisa shares wonderful news with her husband. She's pregnant. The couple eagerly awaits the arrival of their baby. Lisa feels sad that Darren's mother doesn't seem to like her. He comforts her, saying it doesn't matter. The most important thing is their own little family. 4 months into the pregnancy, the couple travels to Grayville, California to visit Darren's parents. Darren comes from a very influential family. His parents, Angela and Raymond Backers, practically own half the town and live in a huge, luxurious mansion. Today, Lisa and Darren plan to announce they're expecting a child. Despite Angela's dislike for Lisa, the news about their grandchild delights both parents. Angela offers to take Lisa upstairs to look at Darren's old baby things, while the men open a bottle of expensive liquor downstairs. Darren was adopted as a child. Lisa would like to know something about his biological parents and any health concerns. Angela evasively replies that Darren has always been perfectly healthy, so there's no reason to worry about the baby. Meanwhile, Darren's father Raymond asks if his son is truly ready for fatherhood, reminding him it's a lifelong responsibility. Darren answers that it no longer matters. Lisa really wants a family, and that's what they're doing. 2 months later, during an ultrasound appointment, the couple learns they're having a boy. Lisa is overjoyed. At their local golf club, a woman named Michelle Morris starts flirting with Darren. He discreetly takes off his wedding ring. Soon after, Lisa tells Darren she plans to visit her parents and grandmother in San Diego for a few days. She knows he won't come with her because he has to prepare for an upcoming golf tournament. Lisa has already chosen their son's name. There can only be one option, Darren Jr. While Lisa is away planning for their baby, Darren openly flirts with Michelle under the pretext of giving her golf lessons. She's charmed by this handsome man with no ring on his finger. At the same time, Lisa carefully prepares everything for the birth, staying with her parents until Monday. Darren claims it's a pity he can't drive Lisa to the airport because of work. She leaves by taxi. The moment she's gone, Darren immediately calls Michelle and sets up a date. Lisa's family is delighted to see her. She has no idea that at this very moment, her husband is having a romantic dinner with another woman at a restaurant. When Darren suggests Michelle come over to his place afterward, she shyly replies that she doesn't want to rush things. All of Lisa's thoughts are consumed by the upcoming birth of her child. She believes she knows exactly what her next 20 years will look like. Lisa has always dreamed of becoming a mother, believing that Darren would be a devoted husband and father. However, all evening she can't reach him by phone. Maybe he's still on the golf course where he spends most of his time. On Monday, Lisa returns home with her parents. Darren quickly puts the family photo frame back in its place when he hears them arrive. Lisa finds it odd that the bed is made. He usually never does that. Still, she doesn't give it much thought, focusing instead on arranging the baby's nursery. From this point on, Darren goes on romantic forest picnics with Michelle instead of his wife. The girl has no idea that he's married. Darren is an expert liar. Because of his affair, he keeps coming home later and later. He explains it away by saying he's preparing intensely for the golf tournament. Lisa is understanding, wanting only one thing, to live a happy family life. But for Darren, the sacred vows he made at the altar seem to mean absolutely nothing. It doesn't take long before his deceit comes to light. Michelle discovers he has a pregnant wife. Darren insists he doesn't love Lisa, claiming she got pregnant on purpose to trap him. Michelle desperately wants to believe his sweet words, that she's the one who's truly special to him. While going through their phone bills, Lisa notices that Darren calls the golf club suspiciously often. Together with her parents, she goes there to investigate. At that moment, Darren happens not to be with his lover, so Lisa suspects nothing. Michelle decides to give Darren a chance, believing he has no real feelings for his wife. Lisa's parents leave for home before the baby's birth. As she walks them to the taxi, she can't hold back her tears. The upcoming delivery frightens her, and she needs their support more than ever. Another month passes. Darren's parents come over for dinner. For Raymond, it's crucial that his son wins the upcoming golf tournament, and Darren feels that immense pressure weighing on him. To lighten the mood at the table, Lisa suggests her husband share their special announcement. He tells everyone they've decided to name the baby Darren Jr. Angela and Raymond both love the idea. At a follow-up screening, it turns out the due date was miscalculated. Lisa is now expected to give birth in just 2 weeks. This news makes Darren visibly nervous. He thought they would have more time. Lisa tries to comfort him, saying they'll surely finish setting up the nursery by then, but preparing the baby's room is the last thing on Darren's mind. Lisa senses that her husband has grown distant. His joy seems forced and fake. During another picnic with Michelle, Darren lies again, telling her that he talked to Lisa the day before and suggested they live separately. Michelle is thrilled, believing she can finally start planning a future with the man she loves. To make sure she doesn't forget him, Darren gives her a heart-shaped pendant as a gift. Trying to bring some romance back into her marriage, Lisa lights candles in the bedroom one evening, but suddenly she starts crying, thinking she looks terrible. She's upset by the changes pregnancy has brought to her body. Darren comforts his wife, telling her she's beautiful, that she seems to glow from within. His words make Lisa smile. Darren knows exactly how to manipulate people and win their trust. October 5th, 1992. Warmth and tenderness seem to return to their relationship, or at least, that's how it appears on the surface. While Lisa goes to her prenatal appointment and then to the grocery store, Darren stays home. Instead of heading to the golf club as planned, he does something unthinkable. He wrecks their apartment to stage a fake robbery. Then, hearing his wife approach the front door, he puts on a gorilla mask and viciously attacks her with a knife. He was willing to do anything to escape his responsibilities as a father. When the brutal attack is over, Darren calmly washes the knife and his hands in the sink, completely unaware that his wife has survived. Lisa doesn't let it show, pretending to be lifeless to save herself and her unborn baby. When Darren finally leaves, acting as if nothing happened, Lisa summons every ounce of strength and calls 911. She is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. After some time, Lisa regains consciousness. She feels immense relief realizing that her baby is still alive and safe. Darren plays the role of a loving, concerned husband, promising that they'll get through this nightmare together. Lisa can't understand who could have done such a horrific thing to her. Darren suggests she must have startled a burglar. In any case, Lisa wouldn't be able to identify the person. He was wearing a gorilla mask. She's puzzled to learn that her husband never called her parents to tell them what happened. Darren explains that the police wanted to speak with her first, before anyone else was notified. Detective Goodwin arrives and insists that Darren leave the room during his conversation with Lisa. Unfortunately, she can't tell him much about her attacker. Everything happened too fast and too violently. Lisa doesn't understand why the detective keeps asking pointed questions about her husband and their marriage. Whether they argued, whether the baby was wanted, whether Darren seemed happy about the pregnancy. She refuses to even consider the possibility that Darren might somehow be involved. The only detail Lisa can clearly remember is the gorilla mask on the assailant's face. Detective Goodwin asks her to contact him immediately if she recalls anything else. The brutal attack becomes major news, and Michelle sees it on television. When Darren calls her, Michelle is outraged, demanding to know why he wants to meet his mistress instead of caring for his critically injured wife. She hangs up on him. Detective Goodwin already knows that Darren wasn't at the golf club at the time of the attack. He asks Darren to explain his whereabouts. Darren smiles confidently, insisting he was on the course practicing. Probably no one noticed him because he was focused on his game. At that very moment, Detective Goodwin is informed about new evidence found both at Darren's home and at his workplace. He is immediately placed under arrest. Lisa sees the arrest happen from her hospital room window. She can't believe her eyes. The shock and stress send her into early labor. Fortunately, despite everything, the baby is born healthy. Lisa's parents arrive as soon as they hear the devastating news. All Lisa can think about is contacting her husband. Of course, she can't accept the idea that Darren could truly be involved in trying to kill her. She calls his parents in desperation. Angela tells her they've already hired the best lawyer money can buy. Lisa loves her husband and is ready to do anything to prove his innocence. When she asks Angela whether she and Raymond want to come see their newborn grandson, the woman coldly replies that they will visit later, once they've dealt with Darren's legal case. Then she hangs up. Lisa is determined to leave the hospital right away. The first thing she does is go to the apartment she shared with Darren to collect her belongings. Though it takes all her strength to step inside that place, her father John is there to support his daughter. Everything horrible happened right here in this home. Lisa tries to hold herself together. She has to be strong for the sake of her son. Detective Goodwin arrives to speak with her. Of course, Lisa still can't believe her husband could be capable of something so evil. The detective presents her with the evidence they've gathered. Traces of Lisa's blood were found on Darren's shoes, his clothes, and in his car. In addition, the police discovered a receipt from a costume store that sells the exact type of gorilla mask the attacker wore. Lisa burst into tears, repeating over and over that it's impossible. Detective Goodwin tells her this wasn't a failed robbery attempt. It was a premeditated attack directed specifically at her. There were no signs of forced entry at all. Someone with a key to the apartment attacked her. Through her tears, Lisa insists that someone must be trying to frame Darren. But clearly, there's no denying the obvious truth anymore. He did it. He tried to murder her. Unable to process this revelation, Lisa walks into another room, overwhelmed. Detective Goodwin says he's truly sorry, but that's the reality of what happened. John tries to calm his daughter down. She can't comprehend how Darren could pretend so convincingly, how he could be so caring at the hospital. Why didn't he just ask for a divorce instead of trying to kill her? Lisa knows one thing for certain. Before leaving for San Diego with her parents, she must see her husband face to face. Soon, she visits Darren at the detention center. A thick glass wall separates them. Lisa simply asks him to tell her why. Why did he do this to her? Overcome with emotion, Darren claims he doesn't remember what happened. His mind went blank. He can't explain it, but Lisa doesn't believe him for a second. Darren says that if he could turn back time, everything would be different. Now all he can do is prove his love to her every single day going forward. But Lisa understands with complete clarity that it's over between them. She was ready to face any challenge in marriage, any obstacle, but nothing could have prepared her for this ultimate betrayal. When Lisa shows him a photo of their newborn son through the glass, Darren breaks down crying. He begs her to give him another chance, promising that they'll be a family again someday. Lisa moves in with her parents in San Diego. She doesn't feel like a mother yet and can't even bring herself to hold her baby. She also feels guilty, believing she somehow drove Darren to this desperate act. Or maybe he's mentally ill and needs professional help. He won't get the psychiatric care he needs in prison. Lisa wants to testify in Darren's defense at his trial, hoping they can see a therapist together afterward and somehow be happy again like before. But Lisa's grandmother tries to talk her out of this plan, saying she didn't survive that brutal attack just to help Darren escape justice. She survived to be a good mother to her son. However, Lisa does not change her decision. The trial is approaching. The prosecutor strongly advises Lisa not to testify in Darren's favor, revealing shocking information. Darren had been having an affair. Lisa refuses to believe it, so the prosecutor shows her the love letters Darren wrote to his mistress, Michelle Morris. At this point, Michelle is fully cooperating with the investigation. Of course, she had no idea about Darren's plan to murder his wife. Lisa can hardly comprehend what she's hearing. It seems she never really knew her husband at all. The prosecutor asks her to think carefully about why she survived such a brutal attack. Perhaps it's because Darren underestimated her strength. Lisa is a fighter, but right now she's fighting for the wrong thing. She needs to fight for herself and her son. Lisa's trials aren't over yet. Her beloved grandmother suffers a fatal heart attack. As her dying wish, the elderly woman begs her granddaughter to let Darren go and finally move on with her life. April 12, 1994. Lisa testifies in court, recounting in painful detail how her husband attacked her with extraordinary cruelty. She had to pretend to be dead in order to survive. Even the seasoned prosecutor can't fully contain her emotions while hearing this horrific story told by the victim herself. Darren agrees to plead guilty to the charge of aggravated assault. The sentence will be announced later. Lisa even feels a hint of disappointment that he surrendered so easily. She had wanted to hear directly from him why he did it, what truly drove him to try to murder her and their unborn child. In the middle of the night, unable to bear her baby's cries any longer, Lisa gets into her car and drives away into the darkness. She is deeply depressed. She never could have imagined her life would turn out like this. So far from the happy family she dreamed of, Lisa breaks down in tears, finally letting everything she has been holding inside pour out. Then, once she calms down, she returns home. She walks into the nursery and picks up her son, telling him how much she loves him. Lisa vows she will do everything in her power to be the best mother for him. 3 years later, Lisa has let go of the past and rebuilt her life thanks to her family's unwavering support. She has finally divorced Darren. Lisa meets with the prosecutor to discuss the upcoming parole hearing. She has changed her son's name. The boy is no longer Darren Jr., but Connor. The first hearing regarding Darren's possible release will take place in 3 months. The prosecutor suggests that Lisa make a victim impact statement. Darren has been a model inmate, so he stands a real chance of being granted early parole. Lisa isn't sure she's ready to keep fighting this battle. December 16th, 1997, the first parole hearing for Darren backers. He states that he understands the selfishness of his actions and expresses deep remorse. Darren receives weekly counseling from the prison chaplain and insists that he is ready to return to society as a changed man. Then it's Lisa's turn to speak. She carries a permanent reminder of what he did to her, her scars. If on that fateful day, Lisa hadn't managed to reach the phone and call 911, she wouldn't have survived. She would be dead. When the police first tried to convince her of Darren's guilt, she refused to believe it for a long time. He had seemed like such a loving husband, and nothing foreshadowed the tragedy. But what else can anyone expect from a man who lies so convincingly? If Darren is released early, it will condemn Lisa and her son to a life of constant fear, always looking over their shoulders. The petition for parole is unanimously denied. Darren won't be able to reapply for another 2 years. Lisa is endlessly grateful to the prosecutor, who continues to support her to this day. Darren was ultimately sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. Lisa managed to ensure that he remained behind bars for 22 years. He was finally released in 2016. Lisa remarried and had 2 more children. She rebuilt her life and found happiness again, proving that even after unimaginable betrayal and violence, survivors can heal and thrive. And that's where our story ends, friends.